We play for keeps, Cuddy. You ain't heard about the huddle fire with no with D-Lane. We tryna get it off the muscle. Walters caught the pick and ran it back without a tussle. Blow the whistle, coach is trying to get back to the huddle.
Welcome to the 510 Huddle podcast. It's your boy, Coach D Lane, in the building with my guy, my brother, Keaton McCoy. How you doing this morning, brother? How you doing this morning?
Solid, bro. You?
mm. Got my coffee. Can't complain, man. We got a double header today, Monday Night Football. But we here to give you some of these Week 2 Sunday reactions. The one thing I will say, brother, I'm a little pissed off because, I enjoy watching the Bills play. The double header is back to back tonight. They got it on at like an hour apart. I didn't understand that one.
I think the NFL had it right during COVID, how some games were actually rescheduled for a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think that they should definitely go back to that, especially when they have these double. Like that does not make sense. Like I want to watch one football game at a time. Like it does not make sense to me personally.
Yeah, but let's dive into these Sunday game reactions, man. And I want to start here with some of our local fans, their team, the Las Vegas Raiders, man, because they let Kyle pull a magic trick out on them at the end of the game, and it's a lot to get to with this game. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and take it away and start off, brother. What was your takeaway from the Raiders Cardinals game?
Few things. I think what I said last week about the Raiders and their lack of talent kind of showed up. They definitely cannot afford to really make mistakes and they'll end up win games. They have to play close to perfect football. First half, I thought they definitely did that. Obviously, they were up 20 to nothing, and then they were basically just shut out the rest of the game. It was interesting. The Devonte Adams, who many think is the best receiver in all of football. I mean, I differ slightly, but I still think he's awesome. He had 2 catches for 12 yards. I thought that was very interesting. Byron Murphy had pretty good coverage, and I love Byron Murphy, but there are very few corners that I would say that I could line up across from him just like one-on-one and just take him. Byron Murphy would not be one of those guys for me. And also, it just boiled down to this. Like as you said last week, there are levels to this. And as much as I love Derek Carr, Kyler Murray is on a different level too. He is a magician. And I said this last week. I'm not going to put any of their woes on him because he's too good, and that's why. Because he can make so many things happen. And yes, part of it is that the Raiders just making mistakes, but at the end of the day, when that door opens, you have to walk through it, and Kyler does that repeatedly. He's so good, and I just hope that the Cardinals can just give him some more help. It's like I said last week, they put lipstick on a pig, and that's what they still kind of have. But as long as they have number one, they'll always have a chance to win. That doesn't mean that they'll win big, but they'll have a chance to win, and that's what happened.
Man, yeah, Kyler is otherworldly. That guy, man, he's what you would want Russell Wilson to still be.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah.
what, and when I think I made that comp since he came in. He's like a young baby Russ when Russ first came in the league. Obviously, way more quicker. I believe the
Yeah.
touch and throw of the football is similar, but Kyler's definitely way much more quicker and nimbler than Russell was in his younger days. Man, yeah, this game took me by surprise. I remember I hit the group chat because I was watching this game and the Niners game at the same
Dude.
time. I fell asleep. It was 17-0, Raiders up. I'm thinking the Raiders are on their way to routing the Cardinals. I wake up, bro. Kyler got the ball in his hands to tie the game up. I see him tied up. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, ain't no way he about to get this 2-point conversion. We're gonna talk about the other 2-point conversion too, where he had like 20 seconds. But the
Yeah.
one he had to actually tie the game, 23-23, that window he fit that ball in, bro. And he told him to get there. Like he was like, because I think it was AJ Green at the back
Mm-hmm.
line end zone. if you see it from the another angle point of
Yeah,
view, camera angle where they have
definitely.
angle right behind the quarterback, you can see how tight that window was, bro. And he dropped it in over a defender's hand too, because we all know Kyler's short. But bro, that was just a spectacular throw. Um, O line still seems like a blocking issue for the Raiders, especially in pass pro. The run protection, the run blocking's a little better, but in the second half, I seen that get blown up. So I went to rewatch the game. Like I said, I fell asleep last night or during the game, so I went to rewatch it late last night. And it seemed like so in week one, I didn't watch the full Chargers game, but I asked Raider fans, well, was it a McDaniels issue? They said no, not McDaniels
No,
at
it's
all. It was
not.
all Carr. Now I'm hearing this week McDaniels second half play calling. I agree. As far as watching the second half, I felt like they definitely got away from the run game at times, especially when they were up multiple touchdowns or multiple scores. You should be running the football a little bit more. Um, they didn't generate no pressure on Kyler at all in the second half. I'm not sure if they maybe got a sack or two, but as far as just on a consistent basis, drop back, Kyler had forever in the day in the second half to throw the ball. Like I said, so not the 2 point conversion to tie the game, but the touchdown to cut the game to a one possession score, and that two point conversion play, Kyler ran around for about 20 seconds, man, in the backfield, and then ran the ball in himself to score the 2 point conversion. So the Raiders defense just didn't generate no pressure in the second half, didn't run the ball enough. Um, I put that on the coach, man. I put that on the coach.
Just 1 second. Hold on.
Good. And then one last thing I like to say, that was a sweet throw by Kyler. I don't think it was the tie of the game. I think it was the touchdown before again, to get them 14 or 13. That throw to Hollywood Brown. Oh my God, he put that in a tight window, dropped it in the bucket between two defenders, and then Hollywood just also made a great play because he caught that thing with one hand. Man, I couldn't believe that.
Well, I definitely do not disagree. But one thing that I did want to mention about that play calling is difficult because I have full faith in Josh McDaniels. My God, hold on.
You good? Shit, I got full faith in McDaniel's too, man. Like I'm watching the second half of this game, guys, and I'm looking at it just too many times. You know what the second half of this Raider game reminded me of a little bit. It reminded me of Kyle Shanahan in his two Super Bowls, and probably more specifically the Niners Super Bowl, not the Falcons. But just getting away from the run game, man. Like I said, I'm watching this game. Like I had to rewatch it late last night, brother. He definitely got away from the. I'm talking about they were still up 23-7, and he over here slinging the ball, trying to throw the ball to Devonte, and Jacobs had a pretty good game. Let me see, yeah, Josh Jacobs, he was running hard. Not man, all right, 19 for 69. So like I said, the offensive line, the few times I did see him get blown up, or stuffed in the backfield, is because the O line got pushed up or bullied up front. So
Well,
yeah,
like
what was
I
your
do
point?
think that it is difficult when it comes to play calling when you're unsure of your offensive line. Um, I think that's part of it because I have full faith in McDaniels. Also, he's still trying to figure out Carr a little bit. I mean, we all know Carr is really good, but he comes from New England, and when you have a 3 turnover game, like kind of like last week, um, they have that tendency to kind of get conservative, especially when the going is good. And when you have the game in hand, um, you know, play calling does change. And at the end of the day, I do think it was a little bit lack of talent and Kyler just making plays. I mean,
I thought the
sometimes
Raiders
he's
have more
being
talent.
sloppy.
I think the Raiders have more talent offensively. To me, now a fully healthy Cardinals team, with D Hop and everything, because Ertz looks good too at tight end right now. That it might be a little closer, but I think the Raiders have more offensive talent, brother.
No,
More in the
they
O line.
well, I just mean as like a team in
Got
like
you,
totality.
got you, got you.
Um, I think the Raiders have bigger names that are playing right now, but overall as a team, I mean, like I've told you this, like I'm not that sold. But
I
anyways,
well, I agree with your point as far as coaching changing throughout the game, brother. The only
Yeah.
reason why I don't want to give him McDaniels that excuse and why I'm keeping a close eye on his ass for the rest of this year because they're starting out 0-2. That's not a good look. McDaniels, brother, I'm not gonna give him that excuse because for one, of course, Brady is a totally other worldly quarterback than Derek Carr. But give Brady that 23-7 lead, dumping it down to the running backs, keeping the quick game going. Keeping that flow going, like you said. Especially if you had a bad game the week before, Brady not about to just come. Especially with a lead, he's not finna come out and just keep slinging the rock. And then the other thing I want to say is, as far as it is tough. It is definitely tough to call any offense. I don't care if your scheme is the best in the world, your offense is the best in the world, your players, your plays. If your O line can't block them, if you can't beat them, you can't block them. So
Yeah.
that's definitely that everybody knows that. But it is some ways to help from a play caller's perspective to neutralize the pass rush or the rush just teeing off on your guys. And he was doing that early on in the game, McDaniels running the ball, mixing it in with a little screen action here with Tay Adams on motion when they scored the touchdown, with Josh Jacobs out the backfield. He was mixing it up a little bit. The quick game, that's ways to get the ball out quick and fast to help neutralize that pass rush or just the rush teeing off on your O line. He got away from that in the second half, brother, and that's on McDaniels as the play caller, man.
He did, but at the end of the day, I won't kill the Raiders for just losing to a guy that is special. And sometimes when that one guy is special, you got to just tip off your cap to him
For
ultimately.
sure. Let's move here, man. Let's move to the other Bay team, the team that's still in the Bay. We got Seattle
Yeah.
Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers. This was an interesting one. But I want to start here, brother, because we all know Trey Lance broke his ankle yesterday, so he should be out for the rest of the
Uh,
season. His career was kind of already in murky waters. His career was kind of in this weird place, man. So I wanted to ask you, like, from this point, where does his career go from here?
well, I feel for the young man because that sucks, and you never want to see that. I'm not the highest on him, but you never want to see that. I think for him, it's just tough because he has to play football. I mean, Peyton Manning is classic in saying this. You don't get better at playing quarterback without playing. So that's tough because he already doesn't have the greatest feel. One thing that I think could be beneficial for him in these next, let's say 6 to 8 months, is he can do what Josh Allen and like some other quarterbacks do. Watch tape of his throwing motion and not just his upper body, but more so his lower body. I think that could be something that could really help with him getting the ball out quicker and getting his accuracy to a point to where he and others would like it. Um, I won't say it's a blessing in disguise for him because he has to play, but I think that's something that could be beneficial. So it's just tough because he needs to play football. I mean, I truly don't know where it goes. I just hope he uses that time to fix some of those things, and hopefully next year he comes back and he'll be able to answer questions.
So let's say Jimmy takes his team to the NFC Championship. Or let's go one better. Let's say he gets to the Super Bowl. Let's not say he
Which I
wins or
think he
lose it.
can.
Does he bring the team back? Does he come back and start next year? Does Trey come back and start next year if Jimmy takes this ready Super Bowl ready roster right now to the Super Bowl, barring regardless if they win or lose, or just an NFC Championship game? Does Trey come back as the starter the next year?
If they lose, yeah, because then
If they
you
lose
would
the Super
see
Bowl or if they lose the NFC Championship?
either because then you would see that because I mean they already know this, but it would be clear that there is a defined ceiling. Again, that doesn't mean Jimmy's a bad player and that he can't play because he can, but that just means that there is a defined ceiling with him, and that you have to try something else. Again, Trey has an upside. The only way he doesn't reach his upside is literally because of his inexperience and some of his throwing mechanics. And I think part of that could also be is like what I said, connecting his upper and lower body when it comes to throwing. So this is an opportunity for him to really dive into film and fix those things because Josh Allen has mentioned that watching it on film over and over and over has really helped him. Um, I'm not saying he'll end up being Josh Allen because almost nobody is, but I think he can be much better from that. And I think just that little extra bit that he can bring, I think that can really be beneficial for the 49ers. So if they lose, yeah, of course they bring back. But if they win, then that's something else.
So I got another question I want to pose to you from this game, brother. Another
Yeah.
takeaway that I had, because a bunch of people, the football experts on Twitter, they're killing Shanahan, killing Kyle as far as why are you running Trey into the ground like this and whatnot.
Yeah.
They're putting the blame on Trey. Um, I put the blame on both actually, me personally, but I'll get to that in a second. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you as far as given his judgment and his decision making, is Shanahan proven to be better served as an OC than a head coach at this point? Because he still has a losing record as a head coach without Jimmy G as the starter. So
I'm going to push back on it just because he and John Lynch have built a great roster and they've been to two NFC championship games and they got to a Super Bowl. That's hard. I know the losing record thing, but part of that losing record when Jimmy G was out, especially the first year when he tore his ACL, that 49ers team was not that good. They didn't have the same level of talent. And then obviously the year after their Super Bowl run, it wasn't just Jimmy out. They had like 18 guys on IR or more. They had like 18 to 25 guys. So I think he's a great head coach just because of the way that he can could communicate with people. The players believe in him. Also, to that running point, he doesn't have a choice with Trey. Like he does not have a choice.
I seen people saying that as well, as far as like that's what Trey's the best at right now, because you can't open up the full playbook and expect him to lead you to a win through the passing game. Understand that. That's understandable. But the only my pushback, go ahead. But my pushback to that is, well, this kid's second year in your system, second year with you. I think it goes back to asking Kyle, well, what is this development looking like? Because you had a year plus with this kid, and you're telling us that you're not comfortable enough to still open up the playbook and allow him to throw the ball, or just take the handcuffs off a little bit. So I think the question really is, well, what type of development is happening over there in San Francisco? Because when you really look at it, yeah, they drafted a few good pieces throughout this regime with Lynch and Kyle, but really name all the players they didn't develop. It wasn't many. It's really Kittle that developed under them. Debo, but Debo was a playmaker coming out of college. Like we probably didn't expect this level, but we knew he could play. I'm saying guys that really developed into Trent Williams was a signee over there.
Mm.
I'm just trying to think like what hasn't been much development going on over there. Nick Bosa was a dog coming out of college.
Yeah, but the one thing that I will say to that is when top picks don't work out, we do we don't always only blame that player. We also blame their environment. And so I have to push back. There is something to be said for like your top picks panning out. Because Nick Bosa, I mean, I believe he is the type of player that could work everywhere, but would he be the same player right now? I don't know because of the other guys that they drafted, because of Eric Armstead, because at one point they had DeForest Buckner, especially in that Super Bowl run when they had all three of them. I know Solomon Thomas didn't work out, but He's not working out at other places also. And Brandon Ayuk, I mean, Debo, he had the foresight to use Debo the way that to use Debo the way that he should be used. He used him the way that he was in college. And you know this. Most coaches, they have a huge ego and they want you to fit their scheme, whether that's offense or defense, and they don't cater to a player's strengths. And he does that. And Kittle, I saw Kittle in college. He was good. Nobody saw this.
Yeah, they always
Like,
got a good tight end in Iowa.
yeah, I know, but like if they saw this, like he wouldn't have been a fifth round pick. Pick is my point. Like he's a
So I
good
actually
player.
give the staff and organization more credit when they hit and develop those late round picks, like a Kittle or fourth, fifth round pick, versus the Bosa's, who's a top pick that should hit. Talent is already there. The environment just needs to be right for those top picks. But when you talk about a bottom of the draftee, a low draftee in a draft pick, that guy, you develop him, okay, that says something about your coaching because you got a guy, a diamond in the rough type of guy. But I kind of want to push back to my point I was saying a minute ago, brother, as far as because I think it all goes back to Kyle may have blundered this situation because you're saying you're pushing back on the people saying why are they running Trey into the ground, but at the same time they're saying that they want to win games. You can't have it both ways. But if you want to win games, well, that's the best way to win games right now. That's what Kyle is saying. Is to
Yeah.
run the ball with Trey, right? Well, but like I said, you've had this guy for 2 years now. You knew he was probably going to take over in his second year. How aren't we to the point in his development where he's able to at least throw the ball a little bit more? Like they came out, I think he had 12 plays today. 8 of them was runs and 3 passes or something like that. Um, and where I will put a little blame on Kyle, I'm not gonna put it all on Kyle. Um, but as far as for Trey's injury, just I wasn't a fan of the way he was running them, just because, like I said, I wasn't a fan of the kid running style. Like I really feel like he runs hella timid. Like he doesn't run behind his shoulder pads or like he's confident. He doesn't run with a lot of confidence. So that was my only issue with the way Kyle was running him so much. I thought maybe a little more quick game could have helped. Um, he was
No,
using Debo. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I just wasn't a fan of the way. So again, that goes back to, is this guy
well,
a better OC or head coach? Because maybe keep
well,
this
I
kid
think they
on
just
the
got
bench
the
and
pick
keep develop.
wrong.
Yeah, maybe keep this kid on the bench and keep developing him and play Jimmy. Then I don't know, brother. It's a
Well,
weird
I'm
dynamic.
well, well, I'm one that just thinks that they took the wrong guy for this team. I think they got the pick
You've
wrong.
been saying that, yeah. You've been saying that. Yeah.
It's not that he can't play. It's just like for this team specifically, with how talented they are and what the expectations are. Why would you? th- I don't know why you take a quote unquote project. Because I'm gonna keep pushing back on those people that say Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I did not see what people are saying to be Josh Allen. That is something totally different for me, and that's just and I'm gonna stand by that. I'm not saying, look, I'm not saying he can't play, but no, Josh Allen he's the real unicorn, and I'll put it like that.
Yeah, my last point on this, and then we'll move on. Kyle, brother, with Kyle Shanahan, man, that's a fireable offense. What you just said a
Yeah.
minute ago, as far as if they missed on this quarterback. So again, it comes back to what I said a while ago. In the next year or two, if this kid comes back, he doesn't pan out. Shit, just next year, maybe they give him one more year after that because he's coming off an injury. But let this be any other coach, and this shit don't pan out with Trey. Like you said, that's a fireable offense that you moved up to get him. It was other better prospects at that position at that
Mhm.
time in the draft, like a Fields, who you just went
Mac
against and
Jones.
lost. Mac Jones, who fits your system a little better, the conventional way, at least. Um, yeah, man, I don't know. We're pushing into murky waters for Kyle. If this don't pan out with Trey, he might just be looked at as an elite OC and not that head coach.
Well, my last point before we move on is I've heard repeatedly that Trey wasn't necessarily his pick. I heard that he wanted Mac Jones, and
Yeah,
that
and everything I heard, brother, I heard they were selling us that they wanted Mac Jones, so nobody wanted to know that they really wanted Trey. I thought they wanted Mac. Shit, everybody did. So I don't know.
yeah, but I heard that Mac was actually Kyle's guy, and Lynch and other people in the front office and ownership wanted Trey Lance.
Yeah, and if it was that, then I wouldn't put so much blame on Kyle because, like I said, if he would have went with Mac, Mac fits your
Yeah,
scheme the
perfectly.
conventional way. I'm putting that on the rest of the organization then, because
Yeah,
if you wanted to go with upside or just a more dynamic player, then you got to go Fields there, the more
yeah,
polished player, not
yeah.
Trey Lance with upside. Yeah, so
I,
let's move
yeah,
on, man, because we
yeah.
can spend forever in the day. We always
Seriously.
say the Niners are probably one of the most interesting teams this season, so a lot of Niner topics coming up for the season. Let's move on. Super Bowl hangover. Is it real for Cincy? Is it real for the Cincinnati Bengals right now, brother? What's going on, man?
I won't go hangover, but that offensive line that they spent a whole lot of money on,
Not
they are
paying out.
not looking much better. And this is going back to this whole thing with guys not playing in the preseason. I know scrimmages and these inter squad scrimmages and like these joint team practices, they are good and like they are beneficial, but it's still controlled. It's not the same as getting live game reps. I know the preseason is just simple and it's vanilla and all that. But when you have that many new guys, you got to play some. I'm not saying you got to play them an entire game, but like play them like even if Joe doesn't play because like he couldn't, just play them like a few drives. Play
Mhm.
them. Yeah.
And
Um,
together, not piecing them in here and there.
yeah.
Like they
And
need to be able to work as a unit together.
Lyle Collins, who coming into the year I would have said is a top five right tackle, looks like he is a bottom 10 right tackle
That's
right
why,
now.
yeah, look, that's why Jerry let his ass go.
Uh, yeah. I mean, it's only two games and it takes a while to gel, but I'll just sum it up like this. If they don't fix this stuff, they're gonna make Joe Burrow into Andrew Luck. And all those receivers that they got and Joe Mixon and Hayden Hurst at tight end will not matter because Joe Burrow is going to be on his back, and I don't think he can take another year of this kind of punishment. He's on pace to get to he's on pace to get sacked 100 times this year. He was already sacked 70 last year. If you're on pace for 100, he will not be the same. I don't care how mentally and physically tough you are.
Yeah.
You are not going to be the same player.
And before I dive into the Bengals, I just want to revert back to my point earlier when I was talking about McDaniels and the Raiders. McDaniels would say you one of the top play callers in the league, right? And you lost that game, second half play calling to the Cardinals. And we both said, we'll give him that it's tough to call with a terrible O line. But shit, I just seen Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor take worst O line I've ever seen in my life to the Super Bowl last year. So, hey, you can get it done,
Mm-mm.
motherfucker. Get it done, McDaniels, because y'all on two right now. So that's my point to that. But as far as to the Bengals right now, I think you hit it on the head, man. As far as that new O line that they pay for, doesn't seem to really be panning out right now or paying off. But I will say, I said the same thing last year about Pat and the Chiefs. It took them a few weeks early on in the season last year to get going, and I think they had a complete new O line, all
They did.
five of them. I believe since he changed four of their five. So yeah, like you said, brother, it's gonna take a little while, a few weeks to gel and get right. But I will say, I believe Cincy's problems are correctable. I think they will still be right there in the picture at the end of the season. But yeah, I think you hit it on the head a minute ago with the sack numbers, but I don't think enough
13.
people in the media are talking about that Joe Burrow and Andrew Luck comparison because it's real right now. And
13 in 2 games, man.
yeah, man, we might see a short career out of Joe Burrow, a guy that's already been hurt in his career, college and the NFL. Um, yeah, they may really mess this man's career up if they
And
don't
I
get him
know the
healthy.
Steelers front is awesome. I know Michael Parsons, like I said the Cowboys are going to be in this game and they could win because of number 11 can just wreck it, and he did. Also, kudos to the Cowboys. Cooper Rush is a very good backup. He's very serviceable, and shout out to Noah Brown. He's a Buckeye product, so shout out to him. And shout out to Tony Pollard also. I think it's very safe to say that he needs to get the bulk of the touches and not Zeke at this point. And but back to the Bengals, it is correctable, but they better get it solved quickly.
Facts.
And I'll leave it
Um,
there.
and I don't like the cowgirls on this damn pod, man. I'm an Eagles fan, but a spade is a spade. I'm gonna call it like I see it. I want to
Mhm,
give a shout out to Dan Quinn though, because that
mhm.
defense is playing lights out right now. Micah's looking like he's taking that next step too, and putting himself in that elite status. Like I'm elite, I'm here, I'm him. So I definitely love Micah's game right now. And Dan Quinn just got them boys playing some tough nose, inspiring football. They just, I'm not gonna say they shut down, but they just made it real tough for two of the better offenses in the NFL. As far as for Bucks last week with Tom, a healthy Bucks team too coming into week one, and then this week with the Bengals with Jamar Chase and the crew. So
Yeah,
I got to tip my. Yeah, I can't wait to see that week five, man. I hope Dak is back too, but I can't wait to see that week five matchup or week six, I believe, versus my
yeah,
Eagles. That would be a real test for us going against that defense.
yeah. All right. So what
You
do you
got
want to
anything
move
else on the
on?
Bengals, brother? Or are we gonna move on?
Let's move on.
Okay, we got two games left with three, including the Sunday night game. Where you wanna go first? You wanna talk this Bucks Saints? You wanna go Russ, or you wanna go Sunday night?
Uh, I say let's go Saints real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because for me that game was pretty simple.
Yep, go
Um,
ahead. Bucks Saints.
so I'm gonna get to what I said earlier in my cornerback rankings. I believe Marshawn Lattimore is the best in the business. Um, is a clear cut because there are some other great guys. Maybe not, but for me, he is the number one corner in all of football right now. Um, and that ejection, man, that was tough to lose him. And I want to say this also, just as like a guy thing. Mike Evans is so soft, bruh. He always got to just come running in and shoving guys when like they aren't looking, bro. And I'm just gonna leave that there. But when they lost him, and also on that Bucks drive, they got two favorable calls to keep that drive going, also. And then Jameis, the first interception wasn't bad. The other two were awful.
Yeah.
He started to press and he's just started to try things that he shouldn't try, and that was just an example of why he's no longer in Tampa, despite despite
Yeah.
his talent, despite the throws that he can make. That is why he's not in Tampa.
It showed
And
that that's
that's
why
it.
it showed that that's why he's not in Tampa for sure. Brother, is it me or does it look like he misses Sean Payton too? Like he looks like he misses the hell out of Sean. More so from a and it looks like if he keeps going down this path, throwing like having a throwing performance like he did this past week, he gonna ride off into the quarterback backup sunset and be almost probably cast into that Geno Smith type of category for some years. But
Well,
but I'm saying that to say because I still see the talent there with Jameis.
yeah,
Like I said, I had
yeah, of
Jameis and
course,
Mike as a Mike Thomas bouncing back this year. I'm not gonna jump off that yet.
yeah, of
But
course.
his decision making and accuracy, it just comes and goes too much. And that's why I feel like he misses Payton, at least for the decision making. He'll help clean that up some. And then he also did miss about two or three shot balls. And I think one was
Mm-hmm.
underthrown where Dean
Chris
picked it off.
Olave, yeah, both of
Yeah,
them.
like he had a
Let him
live
beat.
net open a few times, bro, and he just missed them. So um, yeah, I think Jameis in that offense misses Sean Payton, man. Just a little bit.
Well, I mean, of course, because Sean Payton is one of the best coaches in the game. You're always going to miss him, but I do think part of that is just Jameis right now. Even going back to his prep days and then in a college, his deep ball accuracy can come and go, and it falls apart too often. So I hope that he can get it fixed, but we'll see. I mean, this is what year 7 for him, so as much as I've always loved him, he probably is what he is at this point.
My last point on this game, we'll move on. Brady and the Bucks, they 2-0, but they haven't really played well, man. They haven't played well neither
Offensively.
game. Yeah, offensively, specifically, I was just about to say that, brother. Todd Bowles got that defense playing, but that's to be expected. We know they got some playmakers on that defense, and Todd Bowles doesn't play on defense. I think Brady and that team will get better by the end of the year, though. Routinely throughout his career and his time back in New England in his first year with Tampa, they start off slow. Brady likes to get better as the season goes on, playing our best football late in November, December, heading into the playoffs. So they'll be fine. Another game I want to quickly throw in here real quick, brother. I forgot to say, Miami comes back on Baltimore, man. What was your thoughts on that game? That was a crazy one. I'm still not sold on Tua, me personally. Know he had a big game, but what was your takeaway on that game?
Well, Baltimore's defense is not the same. Uh,
They still not fully
outside
healthy on defense. But go ahead.
outside of Jason Oweh, they can't really rush the passer without pressure. Um, Defensive back play is spotty. I know guys are coming off of injury, but they've also drafted some guys. Um, Jamer Armour Davis, he's out of Alabama. He's a very talented young man, but he had a tough day. It sucks for him because he was left on an island with Waddle and also Reek.
Yeah.
So that's very difficult. Marcus Peters, yeah.
He
Uh,
played
no,
last night. He played.
yeah, he did, and and I'm telling you, it was not good.
That's probably his first game back.
And Marlon Humphrey was good, but Kyle Hamilton,
Told you he was scaring me in the
he
preseason.
he's young. He's a young guy who has talent, but they're gonna have to have him develop quickly. Because there's a few times where it looked like there was some miscommunication and he was involved. But also, I just want to give credit to Miami. Like I keep telling you, like they're talented across the board, offense and defense. I still don't like their O line, but they got better. Also, I just want to give credit to Tua. Is he a special player the way some thought at one point? No, he's not because he can't drive it, but he he can execute and he's very accurate. That's the one thing
Well,
nobody can
give my
say.
boy Jimmy his credit, brother, because that's all he's doing. He's playing Jimmy G football right now because
Yeah,
they
he
in the Niners
is.
offense.
Yeah, he is. But
Okay,
okay,
well you be hating on my boy Jimmy. Give
but
Jimmy
I'm
his
gonna
credit.
push back on this. So Jimmy is not as accurate as Tua. He's not.
I don't see that, bro. I'm sorry. I've seen too many balls thrown in the dirt
No.
from
That no.
Tua.
Part of that is the ball slipping. That has nothing to do with
Well,
accuracy. Jimmy
motherfucker,
is.
hold on to the ball.
That has nothing to do with accuracy.
I mean, that's a part of your throwing motion. You can't hold on to the ball and you throw the
That,
ball
that that's
into the
not
dirt.
accuracy like that. Well, that's just a physical mistake.
I guess, bro.
And Jimmy does
I've seen
not
too
give
many
his guys
wobblers.
the same opportunities to run after catch in stride. So
I've
it's
seen
just
too many
different.
wobblers from him. I don't
I do,
see that same amount
I
of
do
wobblers
not
from him.
debate. I do not debate the arm strength. I'm just talking about getting the ball in a place where guys can catch it and run after catch, and that is all that is needed with these guys. That's
And
all.
that's it. And that's why I wanted to kind of go back to the defensive point that you were making earlier for Baltimore. One, I don't think Baltimore's defense is fully healthy yet. I think they should be better by the end of the year. Hopefully so. That's me speaking it into existence. But
I don't
they
know.
weren't driving the field on them like that. It was more so either like you said, miscommunication or on the back end with these young guys and gave up some wide open shit like Tyreek that last touchdown, wide open, nobody's around him, or it's just you're giving up quick shit, not tackling two of the best run after catch guys in the
Yeah.
NFL. You're not gonna see those two guys every week in the NFL. It is other fast, explosive playmakers in the league. I definitely understand that, but you're literally playing two of the fastest guys in the NFL at one time. And like I said, brother, I just didn't see anything special. If it wasn't a wide open throw downfield where he was completely wide open, nobody's around him. Two is just throwing a screen or quick throws right now, and these guys are making something happen after the catch. I'm not giving I'm not giving him same way you weren't trying to give Jimmy his credit the last few. That was the same thing Jimmy's been doing, just getting the ball to Debo, just getting the ball to Ayuk real quick and getting the ball in their hands real quick.
Yeah.
Let them go do the shit after the catch. So I'm not giving Tua no credit for that, bro. I will say McDaniels look like he's passing the test so
Yeah.
far as coach. But yeah,
But you and I are arguing two different things though. I don't disagree that he's doing that, like he's doing like the Jimmy G thing. My only point that I've ever said was he puts the ball in a better place. That's it. I'm not saying that he has a stronger arm or like a better arm. I'm just saying like he puts the ball in a better place. And also last part of Miami. This goes back to my receiver rankings. This is my own personal thing. This is why I like weapons. Whenever you have guys that might not be as gifted as throwers and stuff, if you have guys like this is why I said I will take Waddle over Smitty. And Smitty is great. Smitty just needs some more opportunities, but I will always take Waddle over him because he can like the things that those two guys can do are just different. And it doesn't matter who it almost doesn't matter who is at quarterback as long as they don't turn it over. As long as they can get the ball, like it's a wrap. And it doesn't matter who you put on them because like you cannot cover a lot of these guys now one-on-one.
gotcha. And I know we got to wrap here quick, brother. So let's try to get through these last these last 2 point games real quick, and then hit our two new segments.
Yeah.
Russ not cooking in Denver. What's going on, man? I know me and you talked a little bit.
Mhm.
Looks like Russ may have lost a step or just
He
like a
did.
drop off in his game, just a little bit. I still believe it's a Hackett issue. I still need the new head coach. I think it's more of an issue with him because I'm seeing glaring mistakes with him and his team versus O'Connell and in Minnesota and McDaniels in Miami, even Chicago,
Mhm.
Eberflus, he looks
Mhm.
solid. Like they're competing their ass off with Justin
Mhm.
Fields. I'm not seeing some of those same things they're getting done over there in Denver with their new head coach. So what's going on in Denver and why is Russ not cooking?
Some of it is Hackett, but I think some of it is Russ. Like I keep saying, he has lost some. And when you're 5'10", and some of what made you great was your quickness, and that quickness not only getting out of the pocket, but just being able to step and find throwing lanes. Um, some of that's gone. And also Denver to a point I think was overrated because I keep making this point. They don't have enough big people. I don't love their O-line. Their defensive line is okay, and it's just showing. I think those are the things that are just showing. Football is still a game in the trenches. As great as skill guys are and having DBs and all that, it's great. But if you don't have enough big guys, it's just going to be much harder to. It's going to be much harder to consistently win.
Yeah. And my last point on this game, and we'll move on because this Denver team is turning out to be a pretty interesting team too, just
Yeah.
newsworthy team. Shit, we might have to put them up there with the Niners as far as just
Hmm.
newsworthy team. But so we'll have plenty of topics on this team as well for the rest of the season. My last point on this team, Hackett. He was in Green Bay with LaFleur and A Rod. He was the quarterback coach. So far, like I said, comparing him to these other coaches, I see penalties, clock management, game management issues with him and Nathaniel Hackett that I'm not seeing in these other coaches. So in Green Bay, how much coaching, how much game management were you really doing? A Rod is a veteran, a back-to-back four-time MVP, Hall of Famer, first ballot. Fleur, clearly an offensive wizard, calls his own shit. What was Hackett really doing? And why did Elway come away with this is my guy? So yeah, My last point. Sutton had a pretty good big day. My guy Sutton at receiver. But
Yeah,
when I was rewatching that game, brother, seen a few nice breaks from your boy Stingley, man.
yeah.
Stingley was looking nice in coverage. He was looking nice in coverage.
He's just fluid. He's very talented, and he's going to be a really good player for years to come.
Got you. Sunday night football recap. What was your thoughts? Bears versus the Green Bay Packers.
This one's easy. Bears, they play hard. They just need more talent. Um, I didn't know. I knew they were paying a lot of guys that weren't on the roster. I didn't know how much. They're paying 63 million on the salary cap to guys that are no longer there and that haven't been there for a few years now.
They still
Um,
paying Khalil, brother.
yeah, they are. So when fans ask how come some guys aren't traded, well, that's why. And how come some guys aren't cut? Well, that's why. But ultimately, um, that was pretty much it. I mean, the Bears they have some nice pieces on like both sides. They just aren't talented enough yet. And kudos to the Packers for getting Aaron Jones the ball. And Aaron Jones, I'm not his big fan, but he runs hard. I love the
Bro,
way that he runs and the
and I
way that
think I think they said Roquan came out and said AJ Dillon's bigger, but they're like shit. Aaron Jones runs harder, bro. And
and it shows.
bro, he nice.
It
He's
shows.
like, yeah, he's just dynamic as hell with the football. And I will give Aaron Rodgers and LaFleur their credit. I love the way they got both of those guys in the backfield or on the field at the same time, and the play designs that they've been using with both those guys. I just love it. Like I think one of the touchdowns Jones had early in the game, it doesn't happen if Dylan doesn't make a crucial block in that play
No.
situation. So they're blocking for each other. They're running hard, both averaging uh, a nice number on the ground. I'll use this game to transition into one of our new segments. Me and brother got a few new segments that we want to add week to week for you guys, and one of them is called Robin Hood. This segment, Robin Hood, is specifically for the not nationally known guys, the players that don't get the spotlight or all the credit for their team's success and their team's wins or losses. So I'm actually gonna take a player from this Green Bay Bears game, brother, and I'm gonna go with Eggleton. I might not be saying his first name right, but Jenkins, the right tackle for Green Bay.
Elton Jenkins, yeah.
Bro, he
He's
was
a nice one.
boogieing shit. He was
Yeah.
brawling and mauling shit all game long. Helped Green Bay get over 200 yards on the ground last night. He was averaging. They averaged 5.3 a pop on the ground last night per carry. So I want to shout out Jenkins, the right tackle for Green Bay. Big boys doing his thing last night, man.
I don't disagree. As long as you can protect Rodgers, he'll figure stuff out. And then my Robin Hood, it's a guy that I knew was good, but I always thought was kind of overrated the way some people were like discussing him. But this week and also last week, he showed something. Carlton Davis, I think, is a top 10
Yeah.
corner now.
I
Um,
always thought he was cool. Yeah,
I think he's firmly in the top 10. Some of that could also be some other guys falling off, but he really is a dude. And he's physical. He does not care who you are. He will get in your face and he'll make it hard on you. He's big, strong, and has that attitude of I do not give a fuck. And I love that. So shout out to him, man, for real.
facts, man. And we're gonna end the show off here with this last segment. Most fun to watch. Who was the most fun to watch for us this past weekend? This is another new segment we'll like to introduce, and it's just guys making plays from that past weekend's games. So I'll start off here. I got three guys, all running backs. I know we're in the passing league, but I
Mhm.
seen some nice things from my running backs, man. Having a running back history myself. I appreciate a nice running back. So I'm gonna go with Aaron Jones, who had an explosive big day last night on Sunday Night Football versus the Bears. I'm gonna go with Nick Chubb. He had 3 touchdowns, I believe, a couple real nice sweet runs, a couple nice sweet cutback jump cuts. as well. So I'm gonna go with Nick Chubb,
Yeah.
and then my last one is Montgomery. So I got
Oh,
two backs from the Sunday night game because I thought David Montgomery ran it pretty well last night too, especially in the second half, making defenders miss. I didn't see that elusivity from him last year.
yeah.
But that David Montgomery, he's pretty light with his feet, twinkle toes. I like the way he moves as well. So I'm gonna give those three guys some running back love for my most fun to watch this past weekend.
I actually like those picks a lot, but my first guy is a cop out. It's Kyler. He's just fun, man. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
watching Kyler play. But I mean, but aside from him, I
Oh,
guess
brother, when Kyler and Cliff are like in sync, that shit
yeah,
does look nice. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe that's why they paid Cliff. I don't know, bro. But when the shit is in sync and they're clicking offensively, their
it's
shit does
true.
look nice. I can't lie. Their shit
It's
does
true.
look nice.
And then my next guy, he is a Buckeye product. I like him a lot. Sometimes I thought even in college he was a little overrated, but Garrett Wilson,
Mm.
he showed why everybody loved him. I love Garrett Wilson's game, explosive, fast, and also I want to point this out again because like this irks me because I play DB too. I don't know what the point of paying these DBs $20 million a year if they're not going to be covering these guys consistently. And in today's NFL, I know you can't play man all the time. Like it's too hard. Receivers and quarterbacks are too good, and also schemes are too good now. But like I said, like put Denzel Ward on him, and even if it's not man, just have him line up on his side for
Yeah.
zone and all that. Why don't you want your best player on the opposing team's best player side, even if it's not like man on man? So that's a whole nother thing which I don't get. Um, but yeah, but Garrett Wilson, he's awesome. He's going to be awesome. And as long as there is a competent quarterback, which I think Zach Wilson is and will be, he's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah. Got anything else, brother? We good.
For me, that's good. I think one thing that we should do is we're gonna have to revisit our rankings for a few positions in the next 2 weeks or so.
For sure. Got a few new segments for you guys as well for the pod that will be dropping later in this week. I know the last few Fridays, our Friday pick'ems pods have been spotty, really just because of sound and some technical issues, but we got that cleaned up. So we'll definitely have that second pod this week for you guys, ready, locked and loaded, ready to go. And we'll have a few new segments on that one as well, including a new team ranking, where we'll do some weekly top 10 rankings. All right, with the team. So thank you for listening. Appreciate you guys. Have a good day. All right.
All right, thank you. Later.
We play for keeps, Cuddy. You ain't heard about the huddle fire with no with D-Lane. We tryna get it off the muscle. Walters caught the pick and ran it back without a tussle. Blow the whistle, coach is trying to get back to the huddle.
Welcome to the